I had you, Skip Bayless. You dirty, stinking rat.
I can't lose for winning.
You can't.
I had pity on you yesterday. I said, I will give you the Lakers plus 4 points, which you demanded. I gave you 4 points for 1 case of Diet Mountain Dew. You had me.
I had you dead right.
I'm down 14 late in the third quarter, and I thought in fact, I tweeted, I am done for the night. And the Grizzlies go on a 38-19 run, capped off by my man Desmond Bane making both free throws near the buzzer to give Memphis a 5-point win. Thank you very much.
I didn't have you. You know why? Because I got something on my team that nobody else does.
That is correct. Thank you, Westbrook.
Defensively, they turned the ball over, Skip. Obviously, a lot of these go hand in hand. They're a terrible defensive team, and you compound that with the turnovers. Last night, Skip, Ja Morant shot more free throws by himself than the entire Lakers team. They were out on that side of the ball. Memphis shot 29 free throws, made 24. The Lakers shot 8, made 6. And see, Skip, when you get old, it's hard for you to slide your feet and stay in front of someone. So what do? You clutch, you grab, you body up, and you get called foul. See, they didn't make Memphis beat them shooting the basketball. Memphis shot 41% from the floor. But when you stop the clock, let them go to the free throw line and let them make free throws, what could have been 14, what could have been 20, well, a 14-point lead could have been easily 24 points.
Agreed.
Now, all of a sudden, it's a 6-point game.
Yep.
Skip, LeBron can't leave the court. He leaves the court, it's a 10-point lead. He comes back, it's a 5-point lead. You have Russ turn it over in a 4-possession series. He turns it over. He airballs it. Collison is waving, let's double Ja. He waves that off and let Ja goes down and hit a shot at the buzzer. Not Ja Gideon. He's already in a groove, Skip. I mean, Ja goes, and that's it, Skip. The Grizz are a young team. Ja 22, Jackson 22, Baines 23. Ja had a great night shooting the ball. Ja Morant is what Russ used to be. A very, very athletic guard that can get to the paint against anybody, finish with either hand.
Yep.
But he's a better outside shooter because he's continuously worked on it. You look at where he was as a rookie, you look at where he was last year, and you look at him now, Skip, shooting the outside shot. But he's shooting those 3-point shots, Skip. There's no one within 3-5 feet of him.
Yeah.
So he's wide open, making those shots. And most NBA players, especially guys like a Ja Morant, who's a budgeting superstar, is going to be able to make those shots. But, Skip, you can't turn the ball over like they turn it over and not play defense. I mean, Skip, I'm looking at THT. I just don't understand how he's getting minutes. Since he's been back, Skip, he got off the COVID list. In 5 games, he's 0-14 from the 3-point line. He's a minus 58 in plus minus. Carmelo was bad last night. Carmelo, as hot as he was against Houston, he was equally as cold last night.
He was.
And Carmelo comes in, he and THT, they're a filing machine. Carmelo can't move. Carmelo never really played defense, Skip, and you're asking him, he's 6 months older than LeBron. He's 37, been 37 for 6 months. So you're asking him to slide his feet and play defense? It's just not going to work, and that's the problem. You can get leads, Skip, it's like a team. We see teams all the time in the NFL. They get a lead, but they don't really play defense, and all of a sudden the team just go up and down the field, the next thing you know, like, dang, they were leading the game at one point in time. Yeah, but they can't play defense, and that's the Lakers. They're an old, slow basketball team that doesn't play any defense, and there's no lead safe because we talked about it. A game that should have been like out of hand the night before against Houston.
Yep.
It's a ball game.
It's a ball game with 2.5 minutes left.
It's a ball game. And so, Skip, look, it's just, you look at LeBron, I mean, Skip, I don't, we've never seen anything like this. I mean, even you can't, like, you just sit and marvel at what this man's doing at the age of 37, with 36, 364 days last night. You just marvel, like, how? Skip, and you know, at one point in time, I was thinking, well, LeBron needs more help. He just needs a supporting cast to do what they were brought in to do. Yep. If they just do that, I'm not saying they can win a title, but they will be better than what they are. They're not getting the supporting cast, the THTs, the Russ, the Mellos, they're not giving them what they need on a consistent basis. And there you have a 10-point lead, and all of a sudden you lose by 5.
I hear everything you just said, but I'm going to go a little bigger picture before I go back to small picture.
Okay.
To your point about LeBron James, since December 3rd, the day before my birthday, 13 games have been played by LeBron James. By far, he leads the NBA in scoring over those 13 games. But more important, over the last 6 games, He scored 30-plus in 6 straight in his 19th season. 6 straight games of 30-plus. And their record is 1-5 in those 6 games. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
He is scoring at a clip. You could make the case unlike any in his career.
Any. At 25, Skip, at 28, at 30, at 32, not like this.
And at least for a half last night, he was as hot from distance as you will ever see him.
He was.
It's a little rare. He's still a mediocre three-point shooter. Right now, he's right in the middle of the pack of three-point shooters at 35.3%. So he's an average three-point shooter who got the hottest of LeBron hot hands. He was hotter than Elvis in Memphis last night.
Yeah, he was.
It was crazy hot. Yeah. It was like where the Grizz are looking at each other like, what are we supposed to do?
Right.
And Taylor Jenkins keeps calling, timeout, 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 because it's just like, it's going to be a blowout. It's going to be a blowout. It's going to be a blowout. And I keep thinking, are those young legs finally just going to overcome and overwhelm the Lakers? And slowly but surely they did.
Yes.
Just a year ago, just last year, this team's calling card was defense.
Yes.
They finished #1 last year in defensive efficiency. The shock to me is they have plummeted to the middle of the pack on defense. They're 15th in defensive efficiency because they don't guard the three-point line at all, because that's hard. That takes some real juice and energy. You got to really want to guard the threes.
Right.
You got to make runs at them. You got to get hands up.
Right.
It takes effort and energy to guard the three-point line, because a lot of teams, you want to rest a little on defense. And if he's got a 29-foot three-point shot, you just say, okay, if you make it, you make it.
Right.
You're too good.
Right.
Okay.
Because they can't stay in front of anybody, Skip.
No.
So everybody's getting the drive and kick, and the guy's wide open because help's got to come.
Okay. So once again, we get to the fourth quarter, and LeBron not only cooled off, but he started to unravel a little bit, because I believe he just flat out runs out of gas. I can't condemn him for it, because he's today, happy birthday, 37 years of age. But more important, he's played the 3rd most minutes in the history of this game. Well, it's a lot of minutes, and if you're going to play high minutes for the whole game and you're going to try to play all 12 minutes of the fourth quarter, what do you wind up with? I didn't look for the whole
38
game.
minutes.
38 minutes, but he played all 12 of the fourth. Look what they did with Ja. They rested him for 5 minutes before he came in at the 7-minute mark to close the game. And did he ever close it?
Yes.
LeBron tries to close on tired, going on dead legs. And you know what's going to happen. Bad stuff is going to happen, because this team is going to go only as far as he can carry it.
Correct.
I still say the irony of ironies. I'm going to take a stand on this. Austin Reeves, undrafted out of the University of Oklahoma, had really become this team's closer. And I'm talking about on both ends of the floor. He has such high rookie energy and he's such a smart IQ player that he's the guy who was making all the plays on offense and defense down the stretch. Remember at Dallas, the overtime, he made that shot? And that was the last we've seen of him. And I got to say, I don't know anything about this, but he's been on that COVID list a long time.
He might be unvaccinated.
Well, I'm just saying, did he get sick?
Right.
You know, did he really get hit hard?
Definitely might be symptomatic.
He may be hit real hard. Some people do get hit hard. It doesn't follow any real pattern.
Right. Correct.
Okay, so they're missing him, and they're missing several other players, but he was a key guy, because remember, he was playing every minute of the fourth quarter, and if they went to overtime, he would play, because Frankie Vio, and we haven't seen him in a while either, really started to trust him. I think LeBron already nicknamed him AR-15.
Right.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so they're missing that, because it gave them young-legged energy down the stretch that LeBron can't sustain. So what's he do in the fourth quarter? As hot-handed as he was, he goes 3 of 9. He goes 2 of 6 from 3. But he wasn't there to close the game. That's where he just faded away at the end of the game. But I'm going to go back to the turning point for me. The psychological turning point of this game came with 2:19 left, when our man Westbrook goes on a soiree, swoop to the hoop. If we could see this, this is to cut it to 1 point. This cuts it to 1 point, and what are you doing? And he looks at his hands like, what's wrong with my hands? First, he looked for a foul. You're not going to get that call.
But nobody even close to him.
Nobody touched him. Okay. Do you know how that just rips the guts out of a basketball team? Do you know what it does to LeBron James after all the great moments he's had in his all-time great career, to watch his running mate, the guy that he hand-selected to be my co-star this year, to watch him swoop to the hoop and just sort of go wild-handed? I told you yesterday, he's got wild hands.
How many?
And not be able, that's a layup.
How many times, Skip, have you ever seen an NBA player miss more dunks and more layups than Russell Westbrook? I have not.
I told you, he actually has bad hands.
Yes.
Seriously bad hands. They're wild, where he can't control it on drives. He loses the handle like crazy. He's got a terrible handle, and he is a slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famer because he averages triple doubles. And guess what he did last night?
Triple-double.
He got another triple-double.
But he also lost the call the ball to go out of bounds because he's trying to get a rebound, trying to steal it from Stanley Johnson. And what happens, Skip? The ball goes out of bounds.
Okay. So while we're on this subject, before I get back to LeBron, I think it's time once again for our daily ritual, our Russell Westbrook turnover blooper reel. We got to see it. He had 5 more last night. Can we just see what they were? Come on, Russ, think. Just think. Well, that's not going to work. There's a 6'10" guy there. Russ, think about it. Russ. Who was that for? Dwight didn't even see the basketball. Whoops, that's wild hands. That's just no handle. Okay, here you go. Oh, God, I just said thank you, God. I'll take that, right? Okay. Every time he does it now, because he's running away with the turnover lead in the NBA, it rips your guts out. Yeah. It demoralizes your basketball team.
But I tell you what, Skip, he is playing hard, though, right? That's his MO. Nobody says he plays smart, but everybody says he plays hard. Hard gets you beat. Him playing like he's playing hard, out of control.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to give you the antithesis of that, the flip side of that. As much as I love Ja Morant, because he has got the killer closer gene in him, he is cold-blooded down the stretch. I want the ball in his hands. In the fourth quarter, he was, again, I'm rooting for the Grizz because we got the little bet on it, but I didn't think he played a very clean fourth quarter game, because not only did he miss 3 free throws, but just to demonstrate how bad the Lakers were, he gave you the basketball 3 times in the fourth quarter, if we could see those, because they're unsightly turnovers. Where I'm saying, Ja, come on. He just dribbled the ball off his own foot and lost it out of bounds. And then this one, okay, they called the charge. I didn't think it was a charge, but they called it and it stood. Okay, and this is the one that drove me crazy. You're better than that. What? Okay, when that happened, I thought, I'm going to lose.
I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Okay, I just did. And he missed 3 free throws in the fourth quarter. So door open, door open, door open.
Right.
Who can close? Well, it's time for LeBron to close. And I got to tell you, he did have 2 late shots at it. He had 2 late threes to tie the game, if we could see those 2.
Right.
But I think his legs are shot at this point.
Oh, yeah.
The first one was
You talk about the third most minutes in NBA history. He might be playing the third most minutes this season.
This season, that's true. These are the 2 shots to tie late in the game after he had such a hot hand. That one actually they called a foul on it, and it got overturned. But he didn't touch his hand until the ball is gone, and then he was just short on that one. Those are 2 late threes. So he made a 3 at 2:48, and that was the last shot he made. So over the last 2 minutes and 48 seconds, I hate to say this, but he's all you got.
Right.
And if he can't do it, nobody else is going to do it, because they all kind of look to the king like, are you going to do it or not?
Because the thing is, Skip, you're right, is that the reason why you brought Russ in was to take some of the load off of LeBron's plate. LeBron is not, so I don't care what anybody tells you. LeBron nor the Lakers thought he was going to have to play 38, 39, 40 minutes on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday. They did not anticipate that. Nope. They anticipated having Russ was going to help take lessen the load. AD was going to take lessen some of the load. And none of the guys, now AD's been injured, but nobody thinks AD has played up to expectations this year. No one thinks Russ. Well, actually, Russ has played like Russ has played over the last 8 years. Like I said, I still, for the life of me, how someone can sit around a table and that watch basketball, that their job is to evaluate players from opposing teams, evaluate the players on your team and says, okay, if that guy becomes available, he would be a great fit. How can you evaluate Russell Westbrook and think at some point in time, this guy can help us win a title, when he has not done that for anybody, even Kevin Durant at his 8th, and he's still at his apex. Kevin Durant at 24, 27, 26, couldn't get past Russ. James Harden averaging 38 couldn't get past Russ. How do you expect LeBron in year 19
to overcome him?
And the man is LeBron James has never maybe had one stretch in his life in the NBA where he's done this, but he was in his 20s.
Yep.
And he can't overcome Russ now. He can't because it's just too horrible. And then he made the mistake of doing what Russ normally does. Got caught up in the air with nowhere to go with the ball, and he turns the ball over, and that ends it.
Yeah, okay, so let's look at that final play. LeBron actually looked a little old on this play. I think he was just worn out at this point. It's heavy-legged, tired-legged, dead-legged, and he tries to get first he wanted a three, then it's to Malik, who's got nothing, back to LeBron, and he stumbles, and then he goes up without a plan, and he thought, I think Russ was going to
cut to the basket, and Russ...
Okay, so that's no wavelength with your co-star.
Right.
That's no connection with Russ, because you have to feel, you have to vibe off each other, and Russ is a little unpredictable that way, right?
Yes.
And I'm not absolving LeBron.
Because he got caught up in there.
He got caught up in the air
and
and just ended up throwing it to the Grizz, right?
Yes.
And it was deflating because it's like the bottom fell completely out when he had been so hot. He scored 37 points, and it came down to that play.
What did he have? He had what? He scored 14 to 22. He scored 22 in the second half. Scored 15 in the first half. 22 in the second half. And like you said, they only scored 16 points in the fourth quarter. He had 8 of them.
God.
They only scored 16 points.
16 points.
16. And we've seen LeBron go get 15, 18, 20 in a quarter.
So Ja Morant plays the final, actually, 7:30 of the game. And he makes 4 of 7 shots, but he made 2 of 3 threes, and they were big time. And listen, he came into this league without a three-point stroke. He figured that out. He learned it. He honed it over summers of just shooting thousands of three-point shots till he made it to the point where he could trust it. You can see he's got a new rhythm where he kind of sets, especially if they dare him, because they've been daring him a lot. Set, gather yourself, take a little quick breath, and then stroke it. And he made 2 huge ones that became like dagger threes. And whatever that young man is made of, you want to pour into somebody else, because he's got that. It's that killer will. It's that closing instinct where he wants the ball and he's not afraid to make free throws or big threes. And he just took the game over and scored 11 in the final 7:30. And it was his night.
It was, Skip. I mean, he gave it to everybody. Avery Bradley tried to guard him. He couldn't do anything with him. Russ doesn't even try to play defense.
No.
I mean, they put Russ, and Russ just give up. I mean, he doesn't even care. Our bench was terrible last night. Tucker was -7, Melo -15.
Plus, your bench gave you 0 3-point shots. Usually, it'll give you a few.
Skip, they gave us 2 of 11. 2 of 13.
Okay.
Horton Tucker was 0 for 2. Melo was 1 of 8. Stanley Johnson
I'm looking
was
at their
1 of 3.
bench. I'm sorry. Their bench gave them 0 3. So yes.
I gave us 2 of 13.
Because remember, they shot 33% from 3, and they still beat you. And to your point, you said they shot 41% from the floor, which is not very good, and they beat you.
Yeah, because when you turn the ball over, 18 times, Skip, and they fouled you 11 times. You fouled them 25 times. Hence the discrepancy. And don't talk about they shot. Nah, you fouling. You're old, you can't move. When you old and can't move, Skip, you reach, you grab, you clutch, you try to body. That's what happened.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.